All right. Welcome, everybody. I will not bother to say good morning because it's only morning where I am. Lord knows, I just stopped messing around with time zones. Anyway, welcome. This is the third installment of basically a Tesoro takeover for the entire month of April because that's just how we roll. Tesoro is an international women's poetry organization with people in Mexico, Colombia, Canada, South Africa, Portugal, England, all over the United States, Australia. We haven't taken over Asia and Antarctica yet, but I'm working on it. Basic, basic mission statement is to make safe, protected places where women who work in words can do their work. We have members who are poets. We also have playwrights. We have publishers. We have songwriters. If you are a woman and you're working in words, our entire aim is to make a safe space for you to be able to do what it is that you do. As I say, this is our third installment. We will have another one at the end of April next week. But the folks that we have in the room this morning, oh my word, these are really cool for me because I get to sit here and fangirl for 2 whole hours, welcoming some of the most incredible fire singers on the planet. That is not hyperbole, folks. You are about to hear some of the most unbelievable voices in the galaxy, as far as I'm concerned. So, for those of you who haven't met me or that I haven't had the pleasure to meet, my name is Stacey Dyson. I am the lead poet and the founder of Tesoro. And I'm going to start y'all off, and then we're going to go ahead and get into our first person. This is an old piece, but it's a call to arms. And I think we can probably all use that this morning. My not so dear sirs, on behalf of sisters everywhere, I am reclaiming the word angry because we are not supposed to be that thing. Never mind what happens to us. Never mind the insults thrown in our faces on every level, every day. In the name of sisters everywhere, I want to reclaim the word strong, not used as it is now, not used as a weaponizing force to undermine our vulnerabilities, simply as an acknowledgement that we can kill you 14 different ways with our tears, or bent backs, or open thighs. Yes, we will still be patient and long suffering, just only in the way that you are patient and long suffering when you are studying the enemy and ready to spill blood before nightfall, before dawn, because we're supposed to be quiet and patient and strong. We are not supposed to be angry when you rape us, betray us, murder our children, cheat us in finance and government. You tell us, expect us to lick your tears and be glad of the water. Every sister on this planet has done time at the altar of white male privilege. Every sister on this planet has done time trying to hold her head up while burying her heart in the dirt or having it torn to shreds and buried for her. We are reclaiming it all. We are using the words as they are meant to be used, which means we are through listening. We are over conversation. Past the indignity of letting other people define, legislate, social more, condition us into any truth, but the one real truth in the name of every sister in this place on this planet. In the name of every sister, been forced to breathe deep and smile to keep her children, her job, her man, her soul intact. I hereby reclaim our voice. Claim, encourage, ride in bold on our anger. I hereby reclaim our time. Y'all are sweet. So, with that little pipe opener out of the way, let's get on to our very first person. I've been introducing folks by saying, this is how I met this person. And sometimes I don't remember because it seems as if I've known some of you forever. But this lady I remember because there I was sitting in New Mexico on a very uncomfortable couch. And we were at Marissa Prada's Summit. And one of my Tesoro women, I can't remember who, came and whispered in my ear, "You need to talk to Carolyn. You need to talk to Carolyn." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because you need to talk to Carolyn." And I said, "Okay." So I went and I talked to Carolyn and I listened to her poet. And I don't think I so much invited her as told her, "Yeah, you're doing this." So without any further ado, please welcome to the mic our first poet for this morning, Carolyn Robinson.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay, good. um, I'm going to do two pieces, and I think that should be right around the time. This first piece is called The Last Time. The last time I saw my grandmother, I knew that would be the last time I saw her. Some eerie feeling I felt in my soul, although she was alive and well. I made it a point to hug her and say, "I love you." I remember exactly how her cheeks felt when I pressed my lips against them. A small but blatant memory that my mind just won't throw away. The mind is funny like that. The way it forgets what it wants, remembers what it will, the way it cuts and pastes images together and leaves us at its mercy, forever stuck with pieces of our life suspended in midair, things we can't seem to shake loose. Like the last time I rode a roller coaster. I didn't know that it would be the last time I would even want to, and I didn't hold my arms up on the downhill slide. Instead, I kept my hands gripped around the bar. I closed my eyes and screamed for dear life. I screamed the entire ride, afraid of what ghosts might find me in midair, afraid that death might fling me out of the seat unexpectedly. And I said, "There's no way I want to see it coming." I figured it might as well catch me by surprise. So I had the entire experience with my eyes shut wide, praying for it to be over. Like the last time I tried to be in love. I wrapped myself in a fabric I was not meant to wear, couldn't hold it tight enough against my skin without it making me itch. I knew that it was the wrong color, didn't look good against my skin, but I pretended anyway. Stretched myself every which way, trying to be someone I was not. For someone I wanted so bad, knowing he was all wrong for me. But that was the last time I will ever bend myself into a mold I am not meant to fit, or cut myself into pieces because I'm too big to sit on somebody else's small plate. I have decided that I will show up with all these ghosts, with all these memories my brain has decided to keep. I will no longer bargain for time or space or beg for attention, make excuses for my greatness, or apologize for the way I love too much, or too big, or too out loud for somebody else's taste. I have decided that this will be the last time I spill tears onto pages looking for lost things. These things I can't remember, or all the things I choose to forget. I have decided that all I need to do is show up for me, show up for my purpose here, show up for my own destiny, understanding there's no need to imitate when you're running in a lane by yourself. All I got to do is show up fully me, like I did this time, like I showed up the last time. Show up like I will every time. Thank you. And I'm going to do this piece that is very important to me. I just did a show last night in DC, and it's kind of heavy, but it is a piece that I enjoy doing for people because I never know where people are. So I hope this kind of speaks to you. And it's called I Only Wanted to Write. I only wanted to write. Pick up my pen, bleed all over the crisp white page, which is identical to jumping in front of a moving train or slitting my wrist wide open, only cleaner. Still feel the pain of every word, taste every vowel like salty tears that poured into my open wounds, cut deep into my flesh like words sometimes do, like razors sometimes do. No, no, like words sometimes do. I only wanted to write, to have someone read every single tear I've ever cried, feel every isolated moment when I died, pulled the trigger inside my own head 1,000 times, but I put it all on paper, on clean white paper. And it didn't matter how it spilled out, how it splattered onto the page, how nasty the words tasted coming out of my mouth. There was no need to pretend, to fake a smile, to act happy. Just write. Use my words until it all became clear. I only wanted to gather all this hurt and put emotion into language. Turn these bitter bruises into vernacular that could speak for the scars that are tattooed onto my heart, etched into my fingers, blazed into my jaw, burned into my memory like old movies I know by heart. I only wanted to define every sinking feeling that ever pierced through my soul, like broken bottles, like charred glass, like disappointments, like all those wrong lovers, like words that splintered underneath my skin, like endings that never got to see a new day. I only wanted to start a conversation about people who are suffering, who are agonizing down to their core and can't find one blank sheet of paper to spell out all the woundedness, all the all torn up about itness, all the absolutely crushedness, all the no explanation for why I feel this way ness. I only wanted to write for them, for all those people who wanted to die but chose to stick a gun in their mouth, hang a sheet from the ceiling fan, take a handful of pills, jump off a bridge, sit in a car inside their own garage, tasting fumes until, until I only wanted to write for them, for all those people who never learned to write, to spell out their anxieties with adverbs and adjectives, document their distress with nouns and pronouns, transcribe their discomfort with letters that grew into words, that changed into phrases, that morphed into sentences, that turned into poetry, that transposed into life. I only wanted to write for them. And so every time I feel battered on the inside, every time I get disgruntled with the world, every time loneliness starts to creep up inside of me, wrap its ugly arms around me, I will write. I will scribble out the hurt like I am unmasking some new dialect. I will write like I just chose the prize behind door number 3. I will write like the universe is waiting for my gift to be unwrapped. I will write when there is no paper in sight. If I don't have a pen, if I have to etch letters into the side of a cement wall with a rock, I will write for every single person who looked like they had everything going, but couldn't find the words and chose to kill themselves instead. Thank you so much, Stacy, for having me. Thank you guys. I appreciate the love. Thank you.
Y'all open up your mics and throw this woman some roses. That is the way to open.
Let's
Oh, that was
go,
brilliant. Brilliant.
Caroline. Yes.
Send her right to the
Excellent.
mic, y'all.
Follow
Excellent.
that.
People in the audience yesterday that actually were crying. That's when you know
Yeah.
your words are hitting a deep place.
There you go. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know about the rest of y'all. I'm awake now. So let's move this on. I met this I've met so many of you on the grid, seen so many of you for the first time on the grid. So there I am, and I am sitting in either Ireland or Scotland. I'm not sure. It might have been England, but I think it was Ireland. And I had already done my thing. And I'm listening to this woman that I have never seen before in my life, had never heard of before in my life. And she's just flowing. It's like listening to light dance on music. And I remember thinking, first of all, how come I don't know who this person is? And why isn't she on stages everywhere? And when I spoke to her, I was so surprised to find out that she hadn't been doing it live very, very much or very often. And I couldn't believe that. I still don't believe that. I am happy to report that that has changed. I am more than happy to report that she is indeed one of us. Please give it up for Chris Dickinson, y'all. Y'all.
Thank you. That's so lovely. I'm going to start with where it all starts, with my mother, our mothers, the thread between us. Mother would unstick each finger knot, the click, click of knitting needles she could no longer slip through loops to tug a stitch for pearl or plain. Lips pursed, she'd cast on and off, a glove sprouting digits, an arm dangling from palms, pocket slits in cardigans, V-necks, button slots, ribbed pullovers in eye-toned fleck. Perfectly good patterns frayed at the seams, split the smiles of families displayed in wool. The layets took pride of place, buttermilk lace in two-ply, fit for the boy. Words like Fair Isle, fully fashioned raglan sleeve belong to the past. Socks we don't darn in a weave stretched smooth over the wood of a mushroom. Mother sewed as easily as turning a heel, dismissed the hurt of bones grating, gnarled knuckles, a cave in the joint where the thumb guides the hand. She plucked skin, a slat lid, enunciated carpo metacarpal with pride, declaring, my grip wore out. When I grew steady on my own 2 feet, I'd hold both arms up to our mother's chair, keep them level to accept the weight of a skein hanging limp from my wrists. I danced to her moves, angle my spine to mimic the rhythm of winding hands. Watch for that tangle in her brow, sense that tension, the thread between us. Tick, tick. A mother leaves her daughters holding the strands, spinning new yarns. Round and round they go, coiling fingers, curling hair. A family quirk, twisting a cord. Thank you. A lot of tension in families, I think. Not all bad either. And staying on the same theme, this is the end. The bed hums to a mother's stillness, face sinking in the bank of pillows, the patient willing for her heart to stop. My sister knits the baby coat, pauses to count the stitches, alert to each twitch, hand or eye, openings, needs we can meet. We heed the lift and sigh of her chest, the spared words, a nod at the gift, a great-grandchild. Hours shrink in chat. She who knew everything asking, who is the knitter? Frowning, and which one sews, throws us out of kilter. In the silence we slip to scenes when we were fearful and small, inflaming a mother's tongue, curt, volatile, clamped between teeth. Her life of service, plans cut and dried, put us firmly in our place. Thieves of pens, scissors to shape a doll's house from a box. Sisters, nursing secrets, shared in dens. Mother sang as she hoovered, tuneless, familiar, a temperate climb for the good, clean fun in our attic, jumpers plumped with cushions, mimics play mum. Lulled in the cradle of her ward hands, held in a warm pocket, our lives have stalled. We are contained, curtained from other calls. This numbness is not kind, not cruel. Maybe this is limbo, accounting bit by bit for the loss of love we take for granted. In a dumb moment, we tiptoe out. Thank you. Thank you. I found so many times that when it comes, to the end, that we all face, that you wait at somebody's bedside and it's the moment when you're not there. Extraordinary. This is still family service in church. Imagine me on the one hand, I've got my daughter 9 months pregnant and cesarean the following day, and on the other, Olive, 107 years old, in her wheelchair. And the text for the service was Acts of the Apostles, the bit where St. Paul and Silas are in prison. And there's a convenient earthquake. In the sermon, an earthquake shakes Paul's chains. Olive's chin sinks to her chest. She won't wake. I think of Monday's birth, my daughter's pains. We stand at times to chant the same refrain, amen the prayers to ease the bounds we break. In the sermon, an earthquake shakes Paul's chains. The bonds of family can wax and wane. Newborns have their own history to make. I think of Monday's birth, my daughter's pains. We sense each other's losses, share the gains, fight our own corners, strive to pull our weight. In the sermon, an earthquake shakes Paul's chains. Olive stirs in time to exchange our names, laments her sleep, loves the chat, the tea and cake. I think of Monday's birth, my daughter's pains. Olive's warm hand can't rest in mine again. Her women smile at me for friendship's sake. In the sermon, an earthquake shakes Paul's chains, and I think of Monday's birth, my daughter's pains. Thank you. I don't often write in a formal way. I wrote that as a villanelle because I found the experience so emotional that it had to be contained somehow. It's lovely to share it with you. And my last poem. Strange has some days fall into shape. The slide of jersey silk, the caress of supple leather, the warmth of a second skin. In Rome, I rested elbows on a counter, unfurling my hand for an Italian. She loved her work, fitting the gift of yellow gloves, palms stroking down, smooth to the wrist, close as a promise, snug as a ring. Such instant slip the V of each fingerfold, constant leaks, becalmed in memory. And images of last times ripple our dreams, a smile, certain songs, the hats worn for fun. We miss our people when they leave a room, as if readying ourselves for normality to end. I want the words to stay the time, the skill to be present, hold the hour. How can a moment measure up enough to take the inadequate day for granted, give pause easily as a remote control? Throughout the routine days, I ask if some habit will remain a task when the next change comes. We are lost, speculating the waste in the past. Our friends are calling, willing us to move on. Thank you.
Y'all open up your mics, fill this woman some roses. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful set.
So
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
That was nice.
Whew.
I love that.
Your pieces are so tender. They're serious, but they're so tender. I love that.
So we're gonna move on. I really I have a very clear memory of meeting this next artist. There is a show that my friend Keith Marr does every year for Asian and Pacific Islander poets. And two of our Tesoro women were involved in this. And so I went along to support. Um, and one of our ladies is on the mic, but I'm looking at a young poet who's like 2 or 3 spaces away on the grid. But she looks like she's just having a horrible time trying to remember how to breathe. I can see her shaking and she's so nervous. And I felt so bad for her. And I wanted to reach out and say, honey, it's okay. This is a very warm, this is a very welcoming room. You can't do this wrong. Okay. I also know Keith, and I knew if she was on that grid, she knew how to throw bars. So I don't know what she was worried about. I wasn't worried at all. So she gets on the mic and she takes a breath and she proceeded to blow the roof off the joint. It was gorgeous. It was like watching a star explode. She has since gone from plain old star to supernova in her efforts and in her effect. Please welcome to the mic, Bianca.
Hey everybody, thank you so much, Stacey. That was such a great intro. That's how I want to be introduced in every room now. Thank you so much. I do want to say to all my sisters and all the women in the room, may all your soons turn into finales and may your adversities turn into prosperity. I feel like we need to do some positive affirmation for all the hearts on the stage right now. And I'm so glad to be here. The 3 pieces I have for you guys today are going to be focused on victimhood versus survivorship and overcoming that. Okay, so this first piece is entitled Risen, and here we go. I hate feeling like I'm never enough. So I write words on paper, hoping the ink in my pen can cure me. After all, I'm just bittersweet poetry. I became everything I feared, so now I'm fearless. The poetry that reveals itself as a wet stain on my notebook is just a reminder that this is simply all the love I could never give myself and putting it to good use. Yet just when I thought I conquered that anxiety in me like an angry deity, a spark of lightning crashes onto my life course, giving me every single color in the rainbow, but without the glow. See, this only happens when I challenge my synapses, like my neurons don't understand why they're always strung out. Like why I can revert back to addictions that I shadow as old habits, like why I hold myself to a standard I stay choking at because the noose is my good place. I can always smile the biggest because the hurt inside of me is a gaping hole that has a gravitational pull on everything I tried to hold on to. So I resort to thinking, if I can cut myself down with every instant with the sharpest razor blades, then maybe my highs can just be mids and gravity won't hurt as much because I too have a tendency to destroy whatever helps me get off the ground between every how are you today is and I'm fine, but I don't think I'll ever be okay. See, it's another mnemonic phrase I associate with between the length of my smile to the length of my broken heart. And I say broken because shattered sounds too windy. Shattered sounds like me taking fragments of my heart and using them against myself. Shattered sounds like shards of false loyalty piercing my skin again as a reminder that I only know how to befriend people that walk around like they are weapons of mass destruction. I gargle the tears that run down my face so frequently. Saltwater streams create crevices only they can navigate through until they reach my holy grail of a mouth that puddles all of the drenched and damp doubts, my desperation till my depression again. And as my liquid soul finally drains itself out of me, I let out a dry sigh of relief. I drop my burden like a rusted ball and chain, trying to anchor my body into another ocean, only for me to realize that being an island doesn't mean you need to drown first, or even ever. The dingy despair of my feelings smell like laundry I just never got around to. Or a wrung out towel that's been taken from a bathtub filled with waterlogged wounds and sat out in the sun for far too long has now become a stale, stained, mediocre savior or a cluttered bedroom. I carved pathways out of that imitate the mazes in my mind. I'm amazed how my mind can still work so vigorously. My emotions smell like wood chips, from sharpening endless amounts of pencils that keep me writing with sweaty fists, and how the rubber constantly erasing the nuances of my existence can feel like I smeared my blood on every page to remind myself that everything beautiful has a consequence. Exhausted, but not extinguished. The subtleties that breathes life into me that barely escaped, the battered and bruised, the untying of the noose. The drawer that keeps away all of the sharp things reminds me that I have died a million times. It is reminding myself that if someone or anyone can love a dying thing this way, then maybe my anguish is the most beautiful tarnished, a wounded warrior, the phoenix that had to burn first to feel the most alive. Thank you. So that was Risen. This next piece is entitled One Day, and it was created out of just pure frustration of what was happening in the current moment. So here it goes. One day, I hope to be as happy as I seem, to have the life everyone thinks I have, to be loved the way I know I deserve. I hope to see the person everybody else sees when they see me, to be more than what I dreamed of, because I know I'm more than my ambition, but not less than my mistakes. I hope to be the mother my unborn child is deserving of. If I never become a parent, I'll simply understand why and I'll never question it. I hope for the day where I no longer overhear my choices through thin walls of disappointment and the likes. It'll convince me to alter myself back to basics. I will no longer be the topic of familial discussion because I chose to live the life I'm proud of than wanting to live a life others would be proud of. One day, I hope to not have anger fester in me, to not let it breed self-doubt and appeasement for the sake of silence, to breathe in hurricanes filled with fire and spit out flash floods of rebirth at the hands of a carcass that no longer serves others. I hope I get to experience a life where my soul feels light and my surroundings are more than a caged reality, because I'm tired of feeling like a phoenix being held captive in hopes I become domesticated enough to be a house pet. I hope I can become alive again, where I will no longer have to pick up my insides from a long and sleepless night and cradle them long enough to digest them again. I only wish for something more than the monsters in my closet that have befriended my skeletons and disguised themselves as authoritarian figures in my life. I hope to wake up hearing the birds sing, then the yelling that greets me about how everything they tell me is for me, but even my own body will never be mine. I hope the day comes where I can take myself back from people who treated me like I belonged on a shelf, untouched and unscathed, for I am always a scorned woman. One day, I hope that day comes before my days are over. My life is one big ampersand, a run-on sentence that never wants to end in regret. Because my days are starting to blend together and I'm starting to feel the timelessness take over my being, and I'm not used to the inception, but I guess if one day comes, there won't be any clocks around. Thank you so much. This last one actually won me my very first poetry slam last year. And I've never competed before, so I was very surprised. But this one is entitled Lovesick. It's my last piece, and it plays on the phrase I feel like we've all heard before, which is love conquers all. So I question that reality, and I'm saying, does love really conquer all? Is it everything we really believe it is? This is called Lovesick. Love conquers all. Love conquers me. Love conquers us. But does love really conquer all? Can it cover up crevices of darkness peeking through, trying to digest the light it wasn't meant for? Can love show me ways to get to where I'm supposed to go, besides through pain and healing first? The space my body takes up is a bridge, filling the gap between a rock and a hard place. Only concrete thoughts are welcomed here, because I'm tired of floating and then sinking and then gasping for air. Love is finicky, like a fish out of water, baited by promises and trapped by vows, pulsating in a bucket filled with hope, like it kept trying to catch itself. Love creates laughter and sadness. It's a wild card of wisdom. It gives us a deck of cards we never know how to deal. Love conquers any conversation. But we never know if it's showing us shadows painted on the illuminated walls, or if it's a bloodline baited with broken promises. See, love can be as deep as the ocean, but seems to only thrive in shallow waters. Enough to see from the surface, drowning growth and washing away impurities of the conquered, like how the conquistadores loved on my people. So now we carry crucifixes of their names on the backs of our native tongue that now speaks of blended love, tongue twisted with confusion, tornadoes of troubled truth. And although I know it's tradition to forget, the memory of pain is embedded into my spine, because my body carries the stories of my ancestors. So when it rains, it pours. And when it rains, my ancestors weep, weeping woefully as love conquers the corners of my mind, connoisseurs of the cerebral cortex that composes our consciousness, interlocking with hook, line, and sinker. I'm sinking, I'm floating, I'm gasping for air, but everyone stares like I've just reached the bottom of the fish tank. Love has put me in the spectator sport. Everyone stares like love can't be fluid, as if love can't run through us. Only away from us, love conquers water. The tides offering the gifts we think we need until it drowns us in tsunami sorrow. So when we talk about it, we can laugh until breathing becomes a gift, or how love conquers women. Through social media gratification, only to lure them into a world full of trauma and left with cadavers of regret at the hands of men who had no intention of giving their hearts away, so they took hers instead. The love we embody always takes somebody. But this is the love I know. This is how I remember it. The way a fish is still a fish even after it's been gutted. And do you think the fish forgave you? See, love can conquer anything. It can conquer your heart like a cancer, eating away until you're nothing left but a vessel of your mistakes disguising themselves as something beautiful. That kintsugi type of love, like shattered but lacquered with gold to highlight how love can murder you into living. See, love conquers your mind. Love tricks you into thinking that maybe, but just maybe, you can sleep on a heavy heart, anchoring you to the ocean floor, swimming with the world's wonders, wondering if you'll ever be good enough. So I guess what I'm asking you is, does love really conquer all? Because I love thee with the love I seem to lose. Thank you so much, y'all. I'm Bianca. Happy anniversary, y'all.
Yeah.
Open up your mics and lose your minds.
Oh
Good
my
Let's
Lord, I
go.
cannot breathe.
Fantastic.
Hey,
Holy
Bianca.
crap.
Talk about
Brilliant.
a fire set.
Amazing.
Oh,
Yes.
Whew. Look at this. Everybody take a deep breath. Lord, that
thank
was, I don't even have the words. Um, that was fantastic, honey. Thank you so much. This next poet, oh my goodness. Okay. So some of y'all, if you are, very blessed or very cursed, depending on your interpretation, know Philip and Chance, Midnight and Canto. And I am sitting in Philip's room and I'm listening, to the poets. This is like at the height of the pandemic almost. And I am sitting wishing I was somewhere else, anywhere else, and waiting for these poets to please transport me because I can't stand being home one more freaking day. And on the grid, there's a lady who's sitting in shadow, just, mildly intriguing, kind of interesting. And I'm paying more attention to her because I'm a mystery buff and I've got all these scenarios, going on in my head. Paying more attention to her than to the show. And I didn't recognize the name. And so I thought, well, hang out, see what's going on. And she got on the mic and I said, oh my God, why, first of all, why do I not know this person? Why am I not studying at her feet? And then the more I went into rooms, the more I was seeing her, but the more I was hearing about her, not just from her, but about her. And then I figured it out why I hadn't heard about this woman as often as I should have, because royalty doesn't come out to play all that often. So when I got ready to put Tesoro together, I sat up nights thinking, should I ask? No, no, I can't ask her. She's This woman is like a stratosphere poet. I can't, you know, maybe in a couple 3 years, when Tesoro is a big deal, maybe then I can talk to her because I was scared out of my mind to approach her with this. I mean, just straight 100%. I am such a big fan, scared out of my mind. So it's like, okay, okay, I can do this. So I gathered up all my courage, y'all, and I wrote her a letter because I couldn't get the guts to speak to her. So she got back a hold of me, and in that very stunning, very calm, very, I got you, girl voice said, before I was even halfway through what I was saying to her, said, whatever you need, you've got. I would love to do this. I want y'all to know I was very cool and very professional for the rest of that, exchange. And then I got up and did a little happy dance in the middle of my living space. So this chick is legend. That is all I really need to say. Y'all, please give it up 100% for the one and only James spoken word.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Stacy. All right. So you make me have to quote Jimi Hendrix. You know, you can't believe everything you see and hear. And now I will quote someone else. I'm really happy to be here, y'all. It's great to hear you. I love all your faces. You're my sister poets. So to quote Mos Def, are you ready for some poetry, motherfuckers? Because here it comes. Liberated by the spoken word, I am not my past life blurred. Despite what you've heard, my future transferred from a dactylograph of the past. Now at last, I am this body. I am these emotions. I am the immortal story. I am the beauty in imperfection. Escaping from the shadows of dark, from a tortoiseshell safety I depart, from an abandoned bus at the station's park. A poet of the street, I'm a motherfucking warrior. I sharpen my pen and I shatter all barriers. Poetry released from this incarcerated mind, floating bars, I did my time. Getting back to my spit with some new shit. Who but the rhymer brings truth to bear? Who but the rhymer versus tragedies of despair? Who but the rhymer pens the blood of suffering hearts, destroying deceptions, tearing lies apart? Tumbling words that dangle in my throat, rendering remedies and antidotes, bleeding out into rivers of ink, drowning in rhymes of missing links where heaven meets hell. There's no time to think. Collecting dreams from broken machines, melting metaphors and spoken word poetry. I spit shit you don't want to hear. I spit rhymes to strip you bare. I'm as harmless as a neutron bomb. I'll hit your shit with chloroform. Cause I am your audacious, bodacious, beautiful sister, and you better fucking know this sister don't whisper. That's a fairly new piece. So the next piece, thank you guys. The next piece is really an old piece. I probably wrote this late 60s, maybe early 70s. I was born on the wings of the wind, hitched a ride on a shooting star. I'm the day tripper, the night rider. I cast spells from near to far. I summon stars to the darkest heavens so the moon can find her way. I am la bruja, la sorciera, la curandero. I conjure night skies into day. I coax rainbows from sad clouds crying, invite the planets to eclipse. I am the palm reader, the fortune teller. I'll turn your miseries to bliss. I can fly in tomorrow's sunsets, breathe color to the land. I am the wish dealer. I am the magic maker. Aurora Borealis is a dream I had. So won't you come here to my mountain and dig the groove I spin? And I'll send you back with a pocket full of stardust and your name whispered on the lips of the wind for your imagination into mine. All right, and then this is a brand new piece. It's called Born of Stardust and Sage. Conjured from juju ink. Je suis la sorcière de la lune, forging incantation. Raised in the spirit of voodoo ink, I weave time into words, straddling the precipice of light and dark. Woeful dreams bewitch my pen, shape-shifting shadows banish my forever. Resurrect my ghost as the blood moon drips crimson tears. Fire rains down, carving my back with dying embers. I am nothing but a dead poet in disguise, wailing tragic whispers of lamentation, chasing monsters that lurk in obscure shadows, where echoes of dragons are waiting to be slain. And I'll leave you with this very short piece that I like to leave people with positivity. So I will leave you with this very short piece. If I were the junk man in Junkie Land, picking up all the pieces that life left behind, I would paint the horizon, polish the moon for you alone, and I would sprinkle stardust above your dreams and fill them with waves of wonder and joy if I were the junk man in Junkie Land. Peace, poets. Thank you very much for listening.
Open up your mics. Feel free to lose your mind. That was
Yeah, lovely, lovely
yes,
stuff.
yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Word.
Stuff.
All
Thank you.
times, every time.
Thank you, guys. I'm in awesome company.
Thank you. Oh my, Jane, you don't even you know. Girl, I'm not even gonna say it, you know. Okay. So the next poet, this next poet I actually met, I was jumping between venues. Um, she had come as a guest. Just she said, she was gonna sit there and support, okay, for one of our poets on one venue. And then I had to jump immediately to the next one. And she was there again. And at first she said, "Oh, I'm just going to sit here and support." And I'm like, "No." And so, think about it. And then she came back a little while later in the chat. And she said, "I think I want to try one." And I'm like, "Babe, we are here for you. Do it." And she got on the mic and did it to death. It was past revelation. It was Renaissance. I could see it. She is she is unbelievable in what it is that she says and what it is that she does, and in being embodiment and the truth of the words that she uses. Please welcome to the mic, Shannon Lockhart.
Ooh. Let's see. So I am going to start out with a piece called Liberation Manifesto. Objectivity is a miserable, fucked up justification for hierarchical bondage. It tears apart connection, chopping it up on a block to sell for profit. Colonized therapy parses out our humanity as if authenticity can be meted out, dealt around the table like a deck of cards, betting on who wins the pot. Like there can still be enough to go around after the winner takes all. Fuck the limits they place on my love, poisoning the only free thing I have left to give. The only thing I try to keep unspoiled. They capitalize on that by giving me labels that give them job security while I drown in gaslit hallways and closets. They're passing the bucks around to gatekeepers who rubber stamp my worthiness to be in society, who decide how I get to feel, how I get to live, who has agency over my trauma, and what new structural nightmare shapes my future. But today, I left my fucks at the door with the receptionist, And I claim this space for me, ripping down the gate between us, erasing the pretense, because I know I matter. And the only healing I consent to is the one where we break free together. This next one is a little bit softer, I guess, called Moving Silently. I move silently through curtains, heavy-weighted contradictions, cradling truths, yearning to free the tension sewn into my bones. Tears drip through my veins tentatively, then insistent in their search for an outlet. They mix with unoxygenated blood, a paucity of connection that longs for the remembered warmth of the first deep breath into a world of inherent expectation that was tied off and severed by inexplicabilities. I know the path I desire, and I see it through vapored lenses of those old talismans, danced around a fire, sharply delineate where I was safe enough to feel. But now, the echoed chispas burn clarity from past lives imprinted into the circle, pushing me into the labor of birthing new, oxygenated realities. So this next one is an older one, but it is one of my favorites. And it is about a mashup about my life between the United States and Guatemala, where I lived and worked with survivors of genocide. So it is sort of my autobiography. And it's also in Spanglish. So for those of you who don't know, Viernes Santo is Good Friday. So I know a lot of you probably already know. I am waiting for Viernes Santo. In Guate, there will be funeral marches, death, anonymous black hoods. I want that. I need to disappear into the thick smoke of incense, do penance, cargar el anda. I blame the choking sensation in my throat, the stinging eyes, the nausea on Viernes Santo. All those years in Guate, my own culture was just a nagging memory in my mind. Now I am physically back, but in exile. Holy shit, that was me. I was there. Fuck. There was blood, so much blood, men with guns, lots of guns, shots, screams, threats. The stories. Oh God. Their stories echoed what we found in the pits, the bodies. We sifted the bones of little children thrown into pits, bombed and burned, disparos, not cohetes, saber donde, bullets and balazos, tear gas. It was post-war peace, but not for Gerardi, not for Chen, nor Barbara, not for us, nor Dina, nor Angela's daughter, not for the ones who are still identified, still in the montaña, buried, eaten by animals, or thrown into the rivers. Who will light candles for them? Who will pray for their souls? I marched, translated, listened, and dug. Who wouldn't? I volunteered, an acompañante. I didn't know it would haunt me. I didn't know it would tattoo me, grab hold, never let go. The stories. They clutch me around the throat, squeeze, urge, nunca más, never again. After only a dozen years, I slink back to this place here and pretend to be just a mom, just a Spanish teacher with suburban dreams. Mucho gusto. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué color es tu casa? But at night, I watch my own children, their round faces and dark eyes, they give away the past. They are mirrors of their father. My husband, whose own memories of civil war claw at him in the dark. And we can't forget those historic memories, so my children can remember someday when they can handle it. Oh, I'm not sure I can handle it. I'm not handling it. So I jerk away in a panic because I walked away. I left, fleeing to save my own kids, my family. And now I am in exile in the country of my birth, which long ago stopped being mine, despite what my papers say, because papers never capture one's heart. My hometown punishes me in my mother tongue, forcing me to try and make sense of those past moments from another language, another time, another world, my Via Dolorosa. I'm paralyzed, censored, though moments still bubble up and make me want to puke. I don't know where to put the nightmares. Pendiente siempre. Heart racing. Who is listening? Who is following the vigilance, constant vigilance? Others have been found before. Of course, we're safe here now, right? Aren't we? All I ever did was just observe, accompany, translate, though the words and the feelings cut right through me, but they were never mine, not really. I don't think. I don't know. Perhaps I am just addicted to adrenaline spikes. Adrenalina, por ver los muertos tirados. Puta madre. Puta madre, que cerote a la verga, looking for a reason to unleash those powerfully foul words again. Except that I'm a teacher, a mom, a gringa. I can never forget I was born a gringa. From there, no, from here. I'm here now, here, up here, in the place that sent the weapons, the money, the napalm, the torture. Fuck. I'm here now, watching that hijo de puta from afar through tweets and photos, a live stream on trial for genocide, and I feel stupid, helpless, cowardly. We're safe now, except we can't let go. I don't think I can let go. I put on my crown of thorns and I wait for Viernes Santo, Viernes de Luto, Viernes de Dolores to nurse my suffering because I'm a faithful Chapina. O sea, I want to be a good Chapina. Is it okay for me to feel Chapina? Good Friday is where I need to be. There may never be an Easter. Yeah, I think I'll go there because I think I'm otherwise right at time. I'll stop.
Oh my goodness. Y'all open up your mic. Throw this woman some roses. My
Wow.
word.
That was dope.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Shannon.
Thank
Yes, Shannon.
you for
It was
existing.
lovely.
amazing.
Lovely.
Thank you, Shannon.
Oh, Shannon, my goodness. My word. Oh, goodness. So, the next poet on our list, again, before I was introduced to this lady's name, knew nothing about her, had never heard of her, didn't know her from Eve, wasn't sure I was interested, but her name was suggested to me when we were putting together the very, very first of these. And, I said to the woman who was working with me, I trust your judgment. If you say she's all that, then she's all that. Let's get her for this. And then when I started getting the Tesoro roster together, her name would not get out of my head because it's very, very rarely that you meet what I call the death of a thousand cuts poet who is so elegant and so subtle and so beautiful and so dangerous that you honestly don't know what's been going on until after she has walked away and you're lying on the floor going, wait, wait, why are my emotions all, bleeding down my sides? What's going on here? She is quite, quite incredible. Please welcome to the mic, Diane Murray Ward.
Thank you very, very much.
Lady Diane, bring it, girl, bring it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I have rearranged the order and what I was going to read because it's just been so magnificent. We've gone through a whole spectrum of so much. This first piece I'm going to read, several of you have heard before. I read this last week at the United States Virgin Island Literary Festival. And this is called Leaving Volcanoes and Landing in Lava. Leaving volcanoes, my blood Carib Indian, African and Hun, beauty blessed, given me not of my own volition, but by them my gene pool meteors, my blood and soul reincarnated by face, body type, maybe occupations, intelligence by reborn. I am, we are them, rebirthed. We carry their souls. They are the wind above, beneath, and giveth breath. The breath we took out here as within us in the womb. Our womb breath, our ancestors bequeath to each of us. Their breath, their beating forms my heart, the multiple hearts of the ancestors. I try to make them proud of this, their daughter, their child, theirs, ours, and mine, spirits combine to make the world family. But first, the nucleus of our own nuggeted subatomic sense to build upon the greater goodness. We are part of our ancestors' goodness, who always knew we'd embrace the greater cosmos, look to entwine with good and cast off the infected. Always gaining the cleansing, the perfection of the positive, the truth, the substantive structure in each of our molecules. Oh, our molecules are ancestral and maintain their memories of Edens and lushness and beauty and waterfalls, birds, lizards, groves, surfs, grace, joy, and love. Most of all, love and community. We exist because we loved each other, came together, procreated, and created us. All that energy was not wasted on us. You see, we are here, my lovelies, against familiar tyrannies. Leaving volcanoes, landing in lava. My ancestral religious mixture is a homogeneous, bountiful mosaic and served me through the boat rides, wavy shores, the slow moving melting of land for years, toiled for food, for home, landing in lava, man-made, deceitful and flowing, hot and molten, some still flowing, some has cooled and said for prosperity, mislabeling it as their honest, honorable contribution. Lava, some cooled and chipped, saved for heritage museums, and remembered where we've come from and how we stopped. I stopped. Together we, me, this daughter, dammed the flow. DMW. Thank you. The next piece, I thought I'd lighten up the piece a little bit, and I write about my childhood, I write about politics, I write about climate, I write about all of that. But I thought I'd give you something a little funny from my childhood, just to lighten it up a little bit. This is titled On White Bread with Mayo or Not. We usually carried our school lunch, which always consisted of a sandwich, fruit, and drink. Today we had a sandwich meat I never tasted before. I returned home before my younger siblings and asked, "What was in our lunch today, Ma?" "Did you like it?" she replied. "Yeah, it was different," I replied. Ma remains silent for a while, then says, "I'm glad you liked it." "Oh, really?" I'm thinking. I look in the refrigerator. Tucked away at the back of a shelf is an unfamiliar wrapped platter. Yes, kids take inventory of refrigerators. It's part of our job. Let me continue. Ma is silently watching me. The platter is double wrapped. Plastic and aluminum? Isn't that wasteful? Usually, one or the other wraps are sufficient. The aluminum adds depth and shine while cloaking any color the clear plastic wrap alone would reveal. Ma's a smart cookie. Aluminum foil, however, betrays the irregular sloping curvature apparent at one end. While rounded on one end, there is an abrupt and angular edge on the other. I am now curious and pull this plate out of the refrigerator. It's heavy and clatters on the kitchen table. I begin to unwrap it. I don't recognize it, and although I've never seen this before, it looks somewhat familiar. Ma says nothing. I look at this reddish brown meat from a few angles. "What is this?" Ma replies, "Cow's tongue." "Really?" The taste bud layer is pulled away, and once Ma discloses, full actualization occurs. I realize I have an anatomy class on my kitchen table. What joy! This science nerd actualizes. Now I'm looking for the musculature that connected the upper end of the tongue to the oral cavity, investigating this flesh, no longer thinking of it as a food source, but as a scientist. Mentally, I am prepared to underscore my need for a home microscope and lab in the garage, which is constantly disapproved. Maybe I can sneak a piece of this dorsum into school. My siblings are alighting the stairs. "What's that?" they ask. "It's cow tongue." I try to explain with my tongue protruding between my teeth. "What?" they repeat in unison. I continue paying homage to the cow whose tongue was our lunch. I give her due respect in her language as bilingually as I could. I tried to explain by pointing to mine, and alas, her former lick muscle. My siblings are smart too, by the way. "Really?" they exclaim. They now talk English with a bovine accent too. Ma starts referring to us as crazy children. The next morning, she asked us what we wanted for lunch. We all said in our newly acquired bovine tongue or lingo, "Tinadata and belly."
If Ma ever served us tongue again, it was hidden. If cow's tongue provided a souchon, nuanced, layered flavoring accenting meals, it remained silent. Fanta, DMW.
Diane, that last piece was
Does
dope.
that use
You were killing me.
Memories.
that use up my time? Does that use up my time, or do I have time for one more? Do I have time for one more?
You
Stacy,
certainly have time.
do I have
Yes,
time
you
for
have
one
time
more?
for one more.
Thank you. Okay. This piece was accepted last year to the Singapore Poetry Festival, and I was so glad that I was allowed to submit this, and they accepted it. The Singapore Poetry Festival, and the title of this is Nesting Straw. I have become like a nesting straw, wind blown, sought for as a building block, weakened at times, though still functional, useful and rehabilitated, for each avenue has climates. I am malleable enough to provide comfort. I have become more than nesting straw for others, now realizing the strength of fibers and strands, the strength imbued by faith and promise, by my ability to withstand disappointment, disappearance, and choices that are not viable otherwise, so not real choices. I have become a building material, sagging and soaked, resilient yet fragile, steady and ready, reliable and, let's not forget, pliable. I have become nesting straw, fading, frayed, contorted, and exhausted. Still strong in some areas, weakened in others. Useless to some, useful to many, brave and resourceful, less blending in belief of others, unfolding, refolding, collapsing, nesting straw. Not necessary, yet necessary, with temporary usefulness, whether torn or discarded, repurposed by others. No one knows how many timepieces are freely used, baited, and finally prohibited, since it's the intentional fate of some nesting straw. I will bind and almost blend elsewhere because I am nesting straw. I am malleable enough to provide comfort. Soothing replenishes each fiber, each strand ready for the next nest. Now each attempt wisely saving for eventual self-comfort, someplace, somewhere, sometime. For I am nesting straw, and I grow in knowledge, cemented by each structure I build. DMW. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Fantastic. Y'all open up your mics, show this woman some roses.
Woo, woo,
Woo! I love listening to you
BMW.
read.
Awesome.
Yeah, brilliant.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Diane, thank you. Honey, that was the cow tongue is gonna stick with me for a minute. I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna be with me for a while. This next poet, I met in person at the summit in New Mexico. I had heard of her for a while, and I was on a grid one night, and she was just finishing. She had like 30 seconds left, and I was really tired. This had been a really, really long session, and I had dipped out just so I could close my eyes for a minute. And when I woke up, she was on about the last 30 seconds of her set, and I couldn't hear her properly. There was something wrong with the connection. And so time sort of went along, and then I saw her name on the roster at the summit, and I'm like, oh, I finally get to hear this woman do a complete and total set. I would like to say that I heard her do her set. I didn't. I felt her do her set. I resuscitated through her doing her set. This was a performance like none that I had really actually seen before. And y'all, I've been doing this for 40 some years. You are all extraordinary. You are all unique. This lady fits into that listing like, to quote one of my earlier poems, a pearl floating in a jar of honey. Please welcome to the mic, Edith Blackbird.
Woo-woo! Let's go, Edith!
Thank you. I wasn't expecting such a beautiful introduction, although I'm not, what is it, surprised by Mama Bear saying those kind things, you know. Stacy, thank you. Yes, hola a todos los aquí presentes. You know, I'm a queer writer, poet, performer with declamation style from Mexico. And I have to say muchas gracias, Mama Stacy, again for this wonderful opportunity, and to my Tesoro sisters as well as the audience, you know, or everybody who is going to watch on YouTube too also. Thank you for giving me the honor to share this experience with all of you. So I have 3 points for all of you, and let me just put the music on. So this is called Tierra Media, and in this one, in English, it's inspired by those moments where you find a piece of yourself somewhere, a bit dusty, maybe yet forgiven, just waiting for you to embark on that nostalgia trip, you know. So hope you like this one. Sunday pajama, plush, socks, flannel, blanket. Amorphous hair, I don't really care. Day. I dig into my DVDs after years and years of neglect. Let's keep away from Netflix and those platforms that, you know, the pay me bitch streaming platforms. Yes. Old school, baby. Blue box, another. Then, a black and golden one in front of me. Hardcover realness. The Blu-ray eleganza. HD flowers and photos, extra scenes. The commentaries, everything I want, I will take it. The limited edition, though. Mine, my only, my own. The smell, my love of vinyl and ink on cardboard, yet still new. The Shire with the wet soil sand, the horse sweat cut grass, the rider's king, the stink, oh dear. The coarse puns, the outsided harmors, the floody swords just made, invading my nose, mine. I just can't just take it all. Close my eyes, a chamber of memories I cannot. Oh, I'm deep in the mines of Moria. A familiar voice calls me, I say, hey, you are so late. He smiles at me and says, no, a wizard is never late. Gee, I miss you so much, my precious, my polycarbon pal of forgotten happy triggers. Oh, the war cry in excitement, my belly ignites. The wild Middle Earth creeps on my plush socks, those ones that keep you up all warm. My blanket, my flannel blanket, my tangled hair, and my mind drags me, and wool drags me again and again into Rivendell, Rohan, Gondor, and all. So I remember, and you will too. Not all those who wander out there are really lost. Neither you are. Thank you so much, everyone. So this was my first poem about Middle Earth and my love for Lord of the Rings. You know, Tolkien and all. So this is will be my second poem, and just a trigger warning. I know it is not necessarily, but it is appreciated for me, at least as a PTSD and survivor person that I am. The trigger warning about grief and loss of someone you love. So please take care of yourself. This poem is in English, inspired by the last day I saw and spoke to my abuelita when she was in a hospital bed. She passed in May 2004, so this is a tribute for her. Hope you like this. Hola, abuelita. Once again, how are you today? No answers. No movements remain. Only your body on display. Dormant by force, sealed eyes and lips. My pain soars the contraction of my ribs. I can't hear mijita anymore. With your essence in trance, I can't take you home, abuelita, when you belong somewhere else. Your existence lingers here, la playa, las chanclas, the rocking chair back and forth, the bare feet on the sand, the sea, your voice calling, and even your despair. You, the storyteller in the barrio at 6 p.m. surrounded by kids, Pedro Infante on the radio while you share legends and myths. I can still see you half smile, abuela, when little me dance at the festivales, mi chingona grandmommy always there, even with your males, tus achaques. The failing of your health caused me resentment and remorse, the loss of my hopeful self when I hear lo siento from your nurse. Your voice breaks my sanity. A ghostly echo in my brain. Let me lay in gravity, abuela, next to your vessel train. I wish you say te perdono. I wish to embrace your mistakes. I feel like an orphan. El maldito abandono. You will never be replaced. I just can picture you awake for a moment, abuela. Those hazel eyes on mine, the warm smile you make, tan pícara, humilde, divina. A tear of your left cheek. Is it about that you can hear my sorrow, abuela? I swear it wasn't my intention to be weak yesterday, today, or tomorrow. 'Cause you deserve la gloria. Sing to you, sin ti. Tell your story of Victoria, abuela, on the day that please visit me. I'll mourn you for a while. Mas por favor, set yourself free. Don't worry about me cracking inside. It's not about me. You have to go in your garden and see a garden with rainbow vinca flowers, the ciruelos, los mangos, trees of all kinds. You'll stay there infinite hours, an evergreen paradise for you to find. So don't wait for me, abuela. Abuelita mía, don't hold in my tears. I know. Just imagine your garden cerquita, shaking off your aches and fears. Perdón if I bite my composure. Perdón if I'm squeezing your hand tight. It's my human nature reluctant to say goodbye, my dear abuela. It's my human nature. Just don't pay attention. I'll collect my pieces, I swear, and will bless the ground. So I'll stay till your cocoon releases your soul to the latest sound. I surrender to the unseen. I just can't hear you anymore. Pero mamita, yo aún te siento aquí. Every maid I repeat, please, may my witness. Abuelita, rest in peace. Gracias, everyone. So, sorry, not sorry, because those are for my grandma. Yeah, this is one of those ones that hit me hard every time I read it. The third one and last one for you guys, I have is a call, one that I call Acá Entre Nos, and for that one, it's not a trigger warning indeed because it's erotica, so everybody here is an adult, so I guess it's fine. This poem is in Spanglish. It's inspired by the desire and the art of conquer a strong woman, like all of us here, you know. Who knows, you know, sometimes we are a fiera who know once they want, but we still have our kind hearts bursting with passion. So this is a little message for those up there that wants to conquer someone like us. This is called Acá Entre Nos. So, watcha compa, al chile veo que te gustan los retos, but that queen over there, that is a real savage, so acá entre nos. If you wanna seduce her, si de verdad le quieres entrar al quite, my dear, approach her with soft intentions, but papacito moves. Mírala, sin pestañear siquiera, que se enganche en tus pupilas dilatadas, and like a werewolf in heat, devour her tumbao de lao a lao, while sniffing her pheromones till you reach your boiling point, my dear. If you wanna taste that queen over there, rompe sus bragas con sus dientes después de escuchar un sí, papi, por favor. Serpentea hacia ella y sírvete. Bow to her shell, worship that pear, papacito. Queen will bless your restless sleeps, I swear. Luego de poquito en poquito, deja que florezcan sus piernas alrededor de tu torso erguido, tan chingón, so wrapped with her Amazonian legs. Let her heat swallow you in and out, warning. Her nails will skin your back while she howls at the moon, sin reparar en reclamos vecinos. Es que acá entre nos, amigo mío, if you wanna make that queen fall in love, mira que diste tu palabra de que la querías tanto como para morir por ella. So this is the secret. Embrace her intermittent selves, fierce false flows, and all. Sí, su fortaleza es bella, I know, pero sus debilidades picantes que son. Mujeres como ella se abren en todos sus puntos cardinales, pero hay bufones, payasos, cabrones que le han cortado sus rosales dejando solo espinas en su garganta. Hijos de puta. But regardless, Queen stands her ground to her king, and keying the kindness, it is the key. A queen like her challenge the status quo, tus expectativas, el pedestal donde quizás la pongas. She invites every fragment of you to sit by her side as an equal. So, to love a fiera like us, like me, like you, is to love your crown, my love. Entonces acá entre nos, start by claiming your own throne, polish that crown of yours with wisdom, and poco a poco surgirá esa fiera en ti, mi hombre. Pero acá entre nos, verás que sí, nada más hazlo y súbete en ella, súbete al trono de la fiera y muérdela, porque me muerdo uno yo. Si no es así, mi amor, a huevo que ella cae. ¡Mua! Llégale pues. Thank you so much, everyone.
Oh my God.
Well,
Well,
damn.
damn. That should have been the ending of the show. This is not
If,
good.
if
It's
y'all
brilliant.
can breathe, open up your mic.
So we did.
Thank you, everyone,
Woo!
so
Yo,
A
much
la
for
gran.
the experience.
eat
You're
it.
amazing.
I'm looking at the comments in the chat.
Woo!
Bianca wants you to know that you owe her child support.
Yeah, because my ears are pregnant now, so that's your fault. I was not expecting the spiciness. I have goosebumps. What is happening?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Um, let me
I'm
comport
gonna have to call
myself
my
here.
ex back in.
Okay, everybody take a breath.
Thank you, Jane. Oh my goodness. Moving right along. Edith, honey, it's gonna take me a minute to get over that, but we're gonna keep going. That was all the fire on every mic on the planet. So you're good. You don't have to do anything else. The next poet, oh my word. This is actually one of the poets, every now and again, y'all will get in my ear about somebody. Somebody jumped into my, hearing about this woman, and I kept saying, all right, all right, all right. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, nobody is all this, it can wait. And the request would come again, and I'd say, all right. And I was just starting to get annoyed because it's like, nobody can be all this. It can wait. And I finally checked in to see her do a full set. And I was really sorry that I had waited, you all. Um, the sheer elegance of this artist, the winding truth of this artist, all wrapped in what is arguably the best voice I have heard in 40 years. Please welcome to the mic, Raw Poet.
Woo! When you're the
That's
best
so
part of your
raw.
set is the introduction. Thank you so much, Stacey. Okay, so Edith made me change my set. I'm gonna stick this poem that I just wrote. Have never performed, so you made me do, because I thought there has to be a little fun there. I love the diversity of today and all of your pieces, and so we're gonna do this and see how it goes. Okay, it's called Baby. Baby. He changed my world with one word, tasting like trouble in every syllable. Lots of bass, low, tremble, naked, casting a bare tone, broadcasting in burly baritone, sin casting when we can barely atone. Baby. A wicked tickle on my skin, trigger a ripple of tingles to begin. The crest of a wave coming for me, the crash of his words coming for me, the question, will you come for me? Baby, tell me a story. Eastern winds echo in his voice, western horizons made misty and moist. The distance between us collapses, a call and response. I say, sir. You say, good girl. Baby. Say it again like you mean it, like you dominant. He solicits me to submit, nestled in a velvet whisper, tying me up in a tongue twister, swirling me around his scripture, wrapping me around his little finger. Baby. Sounding like a dance on his tongue. Dark shadows in heavenly skies, delving into paradise in his devilish pair of eyes. baby, tell me, have you ever found serenity in surrender, satisfaction in giving over to the hunger, climax capitulated in your captor, redemption in the echo of delicious, devious laughter? Now, what comes after? That's that piece. And then we'll do 2 old pieces from the book. This first piece is called I've Been a Fool. It is dedicated to someone who passed on April 1st of a few years ago. So. I let go of that last day of March before knowing what the new moon would bring. In the gentle bliss of arrogance, I nestled up in a soft, dreamy slumber to the sound of your far off and fading goodnight whisper, only to wake up lost in the dark labyrinth of this nightmare, film noir unflinchingly unfolding as I blankly stare, the shadow villain taunting, catch me if you dare. I've been living off the substance of your sublime smiles, lounging lackadaisically like an old lover in the plush regal chambers of my mind, existing as a perfectly preserved, guarded ghost. The memory tiptoes in from a different time, the billowing blaze of your orange, opulent sunset still warm on my hot cocoa and cream skin, your heart open like an ornate Pandora's box, and my little monster eagerly climbed in. The untamed rhythm of your world swirled around my fire, stoking the freak's flames of the sky in the rapture of a tribal dance, playfully pulling my hand, laughter tumbling on top of me from the depths of your essence, slyly slipping me into a trance. We float for a frozen moment, then fall together on the floor. Your presence snowballs around me, rolling down the mountain, giggling with innocent abandon and sacrificial glee. A barrage of iridescent blue butterflies take to the purple sky. The cocoon around my heart cracks open. Your maroon hollyhock lips attract my butterfly kisses, scouring the landscape of your earth for nourishment. The pollen on the tip of your tongue tastes like raw honey and impending abandonment, absorbing the fragrant nectar of your neck, sitting on my lips like candy-coated sacrament, as the brilliant diamond shine of your smile draws me into the utopia of your cubic zirconia lie. And now I'm just a hopeless fly trapped in the precious amber gleam of your eye. And I would have been content to exist there forever, but the curtains closed on that stage and ended the last chapter of our acclaimed play. The words carelessly fell off the page for 3 endless days. I sent messages in bottles, maliciously sinking to the bottom of the salty Dead Sea like the lost sea squirrels inhabiting lightless, frigid depths. Your very existence became a mystery. The angel of death stole that last dance, spun you into the light that now only lives around me. I continue to love you in this present tense, even though you only exist as a mythology. And that's that piece. And we're going to end on the piece about Iran, my homeland, one of my homelands now at this point in my life. And it's called Being Evolutionary. The truth be told, the evolutionary process is awfully ugly. It doesn't just gently dance through time like graceful verses of poetry lines. My dear divine soul, actually, it's quite the contrary. It's more like the pain of clay in the oven becoming hardened by its environment, the movement in time of a butterfly leaving its cocoon behind, the echoes of the loud crack of the edges of the world breaking down walls to become a bird. No more walking on eggshells. Now a creature of the sky, a companion of the wind, the shadow in an angel's eye, like the rock that was once a mountain, a glorious landscape looking like forever, growing smaller and smaller until the lines, the endless shore, becoming the barrier between the ocean's essence and the earth's very core. It is an affirmation of abstraction, the baking of the batter to help it rise to the occasion, delivering a delicious, deceptive distraction like the touch of the bee becoming resolute, a flower falling as a sacrifice to the bearing of fruit. Its eventual destiny feeling like a curse, each bite bequeathing energy back into the earth. It's a goodbye song with love in every verse, ringing out to the very edges of the endless universe. And even then, some will pessimistically view this evolution as an impending disaster until they see all things must eventually give over to the other, until they understand they have to create a space for the future. Some will always brace against the waves of change that make them unstable, like the evolutionary thoughts of a young rebel. Uninvited visitors storming the temple, moments when concepts first enter, light begins to flicker, flashes of memories from the mother, a new chapter in the heart of the daughter, a setting of the soul of the son, a birthing of a new day, patiently abiding the brave until the pressure of labor pain, the realization that the price of this reality, this semblance of sanity, is inherently insane. When you have nothing left to lose, you have everything to gain. The collection of ingredients for a revolution displayed in a desperate mind frame, triggering a call for a revision to the rules of the game. The names change. The color of the blood remains the same. The streets remain stained. Our fierce cries remain untamed. Thin timing occurring only when we are down to the wire. A manifesting of the mercurial musings of the fire. A burning of betrayal into the bright white blaze of desire. A sky of raging red. A reflection of the pain of the pavement, reclaiming the dream of a green development, a lion forming the flag of empowerment. And even as they shower us with attempts to quiet this storm, to slow the tide, to levy the flood that we have cried, to fan the flames of the small divide, to weaponize faith, claim God is on their side, to pile up the bodies of the heroes who died. Even then, Zan, Zendegi, Azadi, we replied. Zan, Zendegi, Azadi, we replied. Woman, life, freedom. Woman, life, freedom, we replied. And that's my side. Thank you.
Woo!
Okay.
Open up your mics. Oh my word. Yes.
Come on, poet. That's how you do it. Let's go, Ria.
Wow.
Yes,
Unbelievable.
rock.
Thank you so much.
Oh, incredible.
There is there is truly only there are truly only a handful of poets that could follow something like that. And we've got one. We've got a couple, actually. another poet I met and heard on the grid. And all I can say about her is that I heard her voice and it sounded like church. I don't know how else to explain it. I was raised in church, and this sounded like every Sunday morning I'd ever had in the very, very best way, in that very warm and full and something bigger than you way. The poem she did the first time I heard her made me cry. That's almost impossible to do on the first shot. But I'm listening and she's plugging in to parts of me that she cannot possibly know. We've never met. But she's finding all of those, I don't want to say holes, let's just say places in my spirit that needed connecting. And she does that effortlessly. And she does it all the time. Please welcome to the mic, Shane Meniere.
What's up, y'all? I'm so blessed and honored to be here. Thank y'all so much for this. So good to see some of y'all too. I've been offline for a long time, so this is beautiful to be sharing space with y'all today. I'm gonna get into it. I got 4 pieces for y'all. Oh, I'm gonna start with the oldie, but a goodie. Um, Poetry is indeed a powerful thing, y'all. But I had a guy once tell me that he didn't see what the big deal was about poetry. He said, they're just words and words don't mean anything. I had some choice words for him, but I didn't say them. Instead, I told him about how I became a poet. I said, look, man, my dad was drunk outside the Mayflower restaurant the night he knelt down and placed his hand on my shoulder when I was 7. And then he pointed up to a crescent moon with a star next to a steeple, and he said, look, remember this. Then he staggered off to the car. And y'all, he left me in the parking lot. So I stared and stared until my eyes fell backwards into my face, came black holes and sucked the moon out of the sky. Y'all, my dad taught me how to see, how to listen, taught me there is poetry in every instance, taught me to interpret the forgotten languages. Later on, when I was 8, he deemed our poem Invictus, wrote it on the back of his toolbox in black, and we would recite it over and over down long roads. Y'all, my dad taught me about long roads, taught me when you are fluent in the tongue of the world, you must also know control, taught me what it means to be a poet. When I was 5, no lie, a snake bit him. And I watched this man bend down, grab it by both ends, and bite that snake in half. My dad taught me how to hold the devil in my mouth, how to spit him back out, how to swallow sin and speak deliverance. Taught me this life will wiggle. You got to grab it by both ends. Now that he's dead, I tell the stars themselves, look, remember this. Every time a poem supernovas at the black hole in my pen, because I may be the vessel, but I am still the captain of this ship, and God may move through me, but I move the God in them. And stagger off into the crowd, but they lay hands on me like butterfly pins. This becomes reverse survival. The moment my foot leaves the stage, I am the one now led to slaughter, and you get to be the savior. So clear a path so my blood could Jordan its way to Jesus, spit in a stiff stanza to be a staff of Moses, with me rocking and a rolling on the waters of my passion, because I still to this day got all a Noah's wilderness, stampeding around in the ark of my rib. You call me lion, call me pigeon, call me shepherd, call me a crescent moon, threatening a star at saber point, holding the entire night for ransom. By dawn, you will bear all your nakedness, a strip in each sentence. Tell me that shit ain't powerful. So the next time a poet says, look, you better be paying attention. That's that
Damn
piece.
it, let's go!
That's that. Yeah, he shut his mouth very quickly. A lot of people ask me, did your dad really bite that snake in half? And how do you remember that at 5 years old? Trauma, y'all, trauma. At the time, I was like, whoa, my dad's a badass. And then later on, I'm like, what are you doing, Dad? Drunk in the yard, biting steaks in half. But he would do that a lot. He would point at something and go, look, and then he'd just walk off and leave me standing there. And now that I'm older, I realized like he was getting me to be aware of my surroundings, and it was teaching me to be hyper vigilant. And yes, maybe not the best parenting way, but it really helped me become a poet. So shout out to Dad's bad parenting skills. Uh, so I want to do a piece about my mom too. This one's a little heavy, but I think with those heavy pieces, we always feel better after we do them. So um, I appreciate any space that allows us to get free like that. So, oh, Mama, there are many days that I don't want to die. This wasn't one of them. So I'm at Party City, staring at the 8.9 tank of helium, picking out a balloon for myself. It's my birthday. The helium tank costs $44.99. The balloon $2, which brings us to a total of my death. Did you know that exit bags are said to be the most painless way to kill yourself and the most peaceful way to leave your body behind? I figured this would be best. Considering inside I am mangled beast, a knot of tangled strings. I lived so long that way, and you know what they say. You ain't gotta look like what you've been through. The day I turned 33, my birthday became a mockery against me. My mother dying in ICU 3 days before, so I spent my birthday at the funeral home. And as if the mockery wasn't enough, there had to be a pattern partnered with it. 3 days later, my poetry mother passes, and her husband said it was peaceful. Funny thing about losing a mother, y'all, is nothing is peaceful. You don't just lose a mom, you lose a best friend. You lose your friends because they can't handle the grief you're in. You lose a family. My brothers split apart like atoms, like an unbalanced equation. A mother's death works a lot like an exit bag. First, all the oxygen is removed from the housing till nothing is left. You place the empty container over your head like the weight of mourning. Tie it yourself off from the world. You use a pipe for the gas to enter, for a feeler, for an arm. You know about that. I had thought about the slicing method, but didn't think my wrists enough to offer up. Seemed much more suitable to unzip from shoulder to fingertip, to display all the shit I had carried with, and still didn't think it enough to bleed it all out of me. This just seemed more fitting. I already couldn't breathe with my heart gurgling in its own blood, just struggling to find a place to fit a beat to belong. No one told me you could feel the trauma of an orphan as an adult. They say helium is a noble gas. So maybe it would be enough at the exhale at heaven's gates. Maybe if Peter had seen how peaceful and still my death had been, he wouldn't think me a threat and let me in. It only takes 2 seconds to go unconscious, 2 minutes and it's over. It took my mother a 2-second injection of painkiller and 2 minutes to pass. I watched her the entire time try to breathe as she gasped, but the air was taken from her. It took mine with it. Y'all, that moment hasn't left me since. You know, when they took the ventilator off, her death rattle didn't sound like years of struggle. It sounded like a mother checking the lock one last time to make sure that you are safe, or the crack of cradle ribs as she holds you in her embrace, or the creak across the floor as she kisses you to sleep. You know, fuck, at least she looked at peace. I can only wish the same for me. Happy birthday. Whew. Got that peace. Peace. Ooh,
Yo, that was fucking deep.
thank you.
Woo! Damn.
Yeah, it always feels good when I do it though, y'all. So don't be afraid of them heavy pieces. Get free. Find your freedom. I've got 2 more pieces for you. This is a new one. Y'all want to share new poems? I want to share a new poem. I've been struggling with being in spaces where I feel like all my trauma is showing. And
Losing your vocals.
we can't hear you, Shane. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So y'all been doing new pieces. I want to do a new piece. So I've been struggling with being in spaces where I feel like all my trauma is showing, and how do I stay in that space without leaving and fleeing and hiding, right? So this is a new piece on that. Spent $300 on makeup, 200 more on hair products, and still couldn't cover up the track marks of trauma. Couldn't flat iron out breakage from the split ends of my roots, carved a smile into my face. I would appear more approachable, only for people to perceive me as the Joker. No matter how many times I asked, why so serious? They only had more questions about the scars I'm sporting. You can throw Louis Vuitton on it, but it don't change the fact it's still a wolf in designer clothing. You can muzzle a monster, but your blood's still gonna curdle when it stalks into the room. You can put a three-piece suit on the devil and still smell the brimstone cologne seeping out his breast coat. People who've been through some shit, they just walk different. Must be the weight of their shadow. No color corrected contacts are gonna counteract irises that seen too much too fast. There ain't enough conditioner in this world to smooth out my rough edges. Reason why I feel more at ease teaching poetry in a detention facility than walking into an upscale art gallery. Isn't it funny how the person who is seen as a safe space can just as easily turn into a threat around people who never danced with danger? And I got a fistful of thorns in my jaw from doing the tango. Tired, trying to make everyone comfortable with my presence. And the fact is, we all been through something. Some just carry it better than others. And some of us carry it as our purpose. It becomes us. You show me your hands, and I'll point to the creases of your prayers, the layers of dirt hidden there, and your lie of a clean innocence. Call me a devil, but no, that means I don't need an invitation to enter. Possession is a profession for those who had to fight for their right to be here. Go ahead and clutch your pearls and purses when I walk into the room. I'm a thief, it's true, because I steal the breath from the room. I'm a manipulator, true, because I'll make you question your conscience, breed your bias into something beautiful, have you confused at the circumference of the halo. You wonder who's a saint and who's a sinner, then expose that there's no difference. Keep your Maybelline so I can stop playing make-believe. Then I need to cover up anything as a cover girl. You can keep your mantra that your body be a temple. I'll carry mine like God built me, a fucking arsenal. And that's that piece. Yes, y'all. Okay, my last one is my favorite poem to date. And I love to close out with this. The day my TED Talk was released, I was so excited. My talk was called There's No Such Thing as a Bad Kid, based on my work in lockdown facilities. Now, most of the comments on YouTube were supportive. And then there was Tim, who commented, told by the person who looks like she burnt down an orphanage in her childhood. Ouch. Okay. Dear Tim, how did you find out? Gave it away. Was it the soot on my fingers, the burnt shoelace, or was it the children running in all directions to their freedom? You're right. I burned it down. I did it for every child in the foster system who got sexually assaulted behind closed doors and paperwork, children who were told their trauma wasn't valid enough for violent outbursts, teens, my own students who cut off ankle bracelet monitors to break out the group home because they weren't safe enough. So I showed up on the front porch, my voice a torch, my tongue a pitchfork, to show them how bright a heart could burn, how love can break bricks down and infiltrate oppressive systems, how the flicker of passion can backdraft a building into belief and hope. What do you think I did the talk for? What was I supposed to look like, Tim? Polished, perfect hair and skin, like I wasn't supposed to come out the flames of hell with no split ends? Don't you know that judgments are reserved for those privileged enough to have never seen horror? Don't you know that knights in shining armor are liars who have never seen battle? It's the warriors with dented metal you want fighting for your honor. Tim, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't make it to your childhood in time to burn it down for you. Didn't stop the shadows from staining your eyes with defense mechanisms to protect the little boy who slumbered in them. But honey, now that you know what a hero looks like, maybe you can become one of them. Tim, there's so many orphanages, and I only got so many matches I can strike at once. Maybe you can sit down your judgment, pick up the flame, and find your purpose. There's too many kids who need us. On average, a child is abused every 10 seconds. Y'all, so far in this poem alone, there's already been 12 of them. Tim, maybe you got a few blemishes, a few scars that shamed you into believing you had to hide them. But honey, it's okay to look like you've been through it. How else are little soldiers supposed to find the medics? Tim, I got enough love to gift you a box of matches, uncurl my fistful of ashes, and hold the hand of your inner child. Can't you see that it's the damaged ones like us that make a difference? Honey, please take my hand and let's go find your orphanage. Thanks, y'all. Thank you so much. He deleted his comment, by the way. And I've been getting paid for Tim's foolishness. So the next time someone makes you mad, go write something and make money off their foolishness, okay?
Open up your
Well
mic,
said.
y'all. Get it up.
Well said.
Oh, good.
Brilliant.
Damn.
Brilliant.
Dope as
Girl.
fuck.
Excellent, Shane.
Excellent stuff.
Fantastic. I'm a little bit sad because we're on our last poet. And this has been, sometimes these shows are, just a lot of fun, and sometimes they're a lot of fire, and sometimes they just bring your soul back to where it needs to be to breathe. And that's what this show has been doing for me. They said we're on our last poet, and I don't know how I'm going to make it through the rest of the day, y'all, but I'm going to try. This woman, oh my word. I've known her for a minute, but I've known her soul in my heartbeat for my entire life. She is, without question, so burningly direct and so eloquently right all the time that it gets a little bit scary. Um, if you can't find her on a stage, go find her online and get your soul seen too, y'all. Because there are those things that we want and there are those things that we need. This lady, you need. Please welcome to the mic the poet Rose Gold.
Yes, girl.
Are you trying to make me blush? Because as bright skinned as I am, you can see it.
Bring it, Rose Gold.
Salutations, fire singers. I am really enjoying this burn right now. Yeah, taking it all in, and I actually needed this today. Because to be honest, I kind of was not in the mood going into this. And I apologize for tuning in late. So sorry to whomever I missed. But I'm pretty certain it was fire without a doubt. So without further ado, let's get it. You have the right to spit fire. Anything you say can and will burn blasphemies to the ground. You have the right to live a life free from generational curses. If you cannot afford these yokes and burdens, please feel free to leave them at the foot of the microphone. I wrote this piece on April 4th, marking I don't want to say anniversary because anniversary to me is a positive thing. So just say the acknowledgement of the day of the assassination of Dr. King. This is April 5th. You were one of the most hated men in America at the time you were slain. Now people driven by privileged arrogance go to your eldest daughter's social media and try to tell her what her father said. Gleefully continue to misquote you every third Monday in January, having no intention of honoring the heart behind the words. Your dream to reach the mountaintop has gone yet unfulfilled. Not only have we integrated into a burning house, but they are withholding the water. Meanwhile, the voices of peace are parched, yet drowned out by shrieks of stupidity, spoon-fed to the sheeple that elevate them, despite them being read for filth. Nazis goose-stepped down the streets of Nashville in February, met only with radio silence from our leaders and the church, save for a lame, oh, 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 where have our leaders gone that refuse to turn a blind eye to a nation stuck in a state of arrested development? Because when you are an endangered species, you cannot live a life of comfort. I confess, I fear sacrifice beyond the pen. As a student of history, I know what it looks like only because I read it, but now I am forced to see it live 56 years ago today. And so unless you're Rip Van Winkle and just woke up from a long, deep sleep or just woke up out of a coma and crawled out from under a rock, you know that there's things happening in this world. I don't remember, is it Arizona? The state of Arizona that enacted a 160-year abortion ban. So we are slowly losing agency over our own bodies. The 1964 Civil Rights Act, the 1965 Voting Rights Act are on the chopping block. HBCUs are in their crosshairs. My mother went to an HBCU. My mother went to an HBCU. They were created because they didn't allow us to play in their reindeer games. So for those around you who are still asleep and got their heads stuck up their asses, keep them awake. Because if you think that stuff can't happen again, it already is right in front of us. So I implore all of you, well, not y'all, because I mean, come on, but I mean, those around you, those you come in contact with, to wake the hell up, please. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Well, I will after I finish spitting. This was my contribution to the Tissot anthology from last year. It's called We Have the Right to Live. I make my messages closed caption for the hearing impaired. Inked deliverance not tied with the yellow ribbon, not here to win hearts, but to open minds, nay, more of a parental advisory, warning of contents that cause souls to collide on paper battlefields, hungering for dominion. It's not artwork, beloved, it's heart work, beloved. An unusual occupation leeches try to feed with attaboys and exposure. And I'm left anemic after you've been awash in my lifeblood. I'm no starving artist. There is food in my table, gas in my car, and my mortgage is paid on time. Don't scorn the mouth that spits. If Show Me the Money was a person, she'd stand 5'4", 140 pounds, not caring whether you liked her packaging or her delivery. But I'll bet you'll still check for me, so cut mine and make it payable to She Said What She Said in the amount of cha-ching. I don't perform on demand for your convenience, entertainment, or amusement. I'm not that circus monkey clanging cymbals when the pop-up box is wound. There's no need for cameras. My words are just as earnest when no one's recording. As April showers give way to May flower power, just grab your umbrella and prepare for the spray. End. Gee, Jesus. So I did a thing. Well, actually, I did this thing quite some time ago, but it's been a while trying to find someone who is stable enough to actually publish said thing. So shout out to Marissa Prada and Red or Green Books. As of this summer, I will finally be able to say I am a published author. The title of this forthcoming book is Poetry is Love Language, but first, let me tell you something. So you've heard me spit, that title fits. And this piece is in the book. It is called What Color is Your Noise? In the immortal words of the GOAT, MC Light, hot damn ho, here we go again. Back to the lab with a pad and pen, armed to the teeth with fodder, from the very latest in American foibles. I have to admit, sometimes I wish this rogue nation wouldn't supply us with all this ammunition because, you see, I'd love to waste time writing about kittens and puppies and fluffy clouds, but it's easier to craft lyrics of disdain about things that hate me, like America and her prodigal sons and daughters of the faux revolution, mercilessly lampooned on the lines of this page. But at the end of the day, will it truly bring change? I say again, will it? Really and truly? Mr. Cook, you told us a change was going to come. It's been 57 years since you blessed us with those words, Mr. Cook. You promised us. See, change did not come with Obama. It missed the connecting flight to hope. I can be quoted as saying the pen is a weapon. Perhaps, if I were to jab it into my opponent's jugular or poison their drink with my ink. I'm not the 60s hippies planting carnations in the muzzles of military police rifles. Sorry, Father, but that's not how this flower wants to exercise her power. I don't want to continue being a part of this predictable plot twist where they shoot, we die, we rage, they lie, they no charge, we cry, we hashtag, we wave BLM flag, we get bitter, we Black Twitter, then they get to return to their regularly scheduled racism. Therefore, I assume my fighter stance and keep my ear to the streets in anticipation of the next failed insurrection. Forget prayer posture, there's nooses swinging in the breeze, and the Wu-Tang Clan told me to protect my neck. Cooter and them still mad that Reconstruction was not our destruction, but so not sorry, you cannot deconstruct melanin. How can they still find our radiance so abhorrent? Why, Ray Air said, everybody loves the sunshine. Yes, I do wish that one day they'll grow tired of being a foil for my art. But there they go again with all that smack, all that much stank, that trash talk, that diarrhea of the mouth. One has to wonder why they sit on their asses and not their faces. Wrathful because we aim to curb their blonde ambitions, intent on eclipsing our rays of light with their rancor. Fragile and atrophied because they never exercise that muscle called accountability. But spring is coming. So what are you gonna do, you scribe, Pied Piper, griot, foghorn, poet? What color is your noise? It is separation season. Eventually, you will have to vacate the safety and security of these Hollywood squares because the real challenge is out in them streets, in your schools, your jobs, your churches even. When the hour is upon you, will you unleash the beast or stay muzzled? A Rottweiler's jaws wield 328 pounds per square inch of pressure, so there's no question as to why it shows no fear. So likewise, there will have to come a time when your bite has to be worse than your bark, when your words will leap off the papyrus and form flesh around dry bones, joining together in battle in living color, parting the seas of hate and leading the true-hearted onward to the promised land. And okay, I got one more. I don't know how much time I got, but I got one more. Okay, letter to the last page of my notebook. Dear beloved, I hope you found these lines palatable, essential to your very being, feeling like the very reason you exist was to bring order to this word scramble. They were arranged on this rose-colored papyrus with careful consideration. I know presentation is everything to you. I've tried to serve these stanzas with conviction, lest I be convicted for not shoving oppressors overboard from their errant vessels to drown in my streams of consciousness. I pray that my words entice you, edible enough to ingest into your system and fill you with the sustenance you need to run the race that you were never meant to enter. Should my poeting displease you, and you find yourself choking on my flawed exclamations, please allow me to apply the Heimlich by crossing out the offending terms. Last, but not least, beloved, I wanted to express my thanks. You've weathered the storms of my rants, soapbox chants, lovelorn librettos, and acts of contrition. Though I must warn you, the pages contained in this next volume must be just as strong to withstand the fallout from this erupting volcano rose. I am the poet Rose Gold. Continue to burn, bloom, and burn. Thank you.
Y'all, open
And
your
you
mic.
burn it
Throw those
down
roses.
every time. Every time.
Fire.
Amen.
Oh, oh, wow.
Awful.
When this summer? When this summer is that book coming?
Marissa, if I misquoted, I apologize, but around on or around July 1st.
Whenever it does come out, y'all make sure, save up your Starbucks money or whatever. Rush on out and get this woman's book. Ladies, thank you so much. My soul needed this so bad. And I'm so glad that you get to hear each other in longer format than 2 or 3 minutes at a time. I'm glad you get to experience each other because when we finally all get together, and I'm working on it, it's going to have to be in a country that does not have an extradition treaty with the United States, but we're all going to get together. When that happens, the sky is going to open up and the world is just not going to recover. So, with that in mind, ladies, from the bottom of my soul, thank you so much. You make Tesoro exactly what it is it's supposed to be. I'm going to take us out, and then I'm going to bid you adieu. And don't forget, we're doing this again next week. I know I said we were only going to take over April, but I think I'm going to work on it so that we just take over every month in the calendar. I think that will work for us. Is this how it ends, do you think? A giant hand poses itself with a tube and petulantly sucks the hours and miracles of lifetimes into a sterile, airtight bag to be held tightly closed for 1,000 years lest they spoil again. God holds his hand over the earth, flicking the imperfect beauty of the world aside like a pastry chef dissatisfied with what seems so sweet and real to the rest of us, wanting to smooth the icing bland over and clear to start again. I can't believe that. Believe in the possibility of anonymous expulsion. Believe I'm just another thousandth of a heartbeat. I'm a Black woman. I want to show. I'm a poet. I need the lyricism of angels' wings, fluttering in 6-part music. I'm human and arrogant enough to be disappointed by my whimsy. The last doomsday call made me laugh. I told folks my version of preparation for the final end was to eat a gallon of French silk ice cream and get right with Jesus. Shave my legs just in case. At 6:15, at 8 a.m., at 8 p.m., at midnight, when no Trump had blown, no fire fallen from the sky, no earthquake or anonymous, ominous horseman visited my doorstep, I wiped my hand across my forehead in mock relief and announced, dodged a bullet, huh? All that fuss and preparation was something to laugh at. How could I take that level of foolishness seriously? Besides, my hair wasn't looking right. I knew the Lord would not dare let me meet my mother anywhere near the Rock of Ages looking like that. I was home free and safe. But after all the fuss died down, I started to think about how it would really be. I've had death on my heart a lot lately. He walks a little heavier now than he did before. His footsteps are louder in the empty places created by my uncertainties, but I still can't believe in millions of hearts ravaged by fear, screaming penance and painful confession. I can't believe in a sudden nothingness, still and barren, where the only wine is blood and salt tears. 50 years of AME gospel and Southern Baptist. I am a white glove wearing, dyed in the blood of the Lamb Sunday school teacher choir girl. I still believe in the rush of angels' wings, lifting me up to stand on line in front of those pearl white gates and explain to St. Peter how I did my sinning. I believe in Gabriel blowing the opening bars of Jamaica funk and the stars falling in Duke Ellington rhythms to light my way home. I believe in every single lyric line of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Because I have been presented with no reasonable alternative, I'm not naive. I know the devil comes in 1,000 faces, breathing horror and destruction in one stinking breath of sulfur and pain. I know evil tags at the heels of vigilance, waiting for a slip and fall so it can create, then dine on carrion flesh. And I am sure, as the rush of angels' wings, as I am in the footspan width of the bridge that crosses over the River Jordan, because I heard Mahalia's notes lay certainty and fire, because I heard the blind boys of Alabama say that faith in gold and lightning, because I recognize that precious Lord, take my hand is a battle song, not a lullaby. And I know you're saying you want a sign, not a sermon, a song or symbol, something to hold your heart together while you figure it out. Then listen. Listen for the wheel and fall of 1,000 minutes into an infinite mystery. Watch the sky for raindrops to hump shoulders and shake like a Harlem ballerina. Listen to Mahalia drop notes that burn in lightning and fire. This world is not miracles suffocating in an airtight bag, not an arrogant hand waiting to wipe dreams clean and traceless. It's the show. It's the eloquence of pain and incredible love, the anger created by whimsy and disappointment. It's knowing that stars fall down in syncopated Ellington rhythm. It's hearing and knowing the difference between a battle song and a lullaby. It's understanding how to count 1,000 heartbeats and having the courage to trust your soul, to cool your uncertainties in the lilt and rush of angels' wings.
Yes, woo!
Y'all open up your mics, give yourselves a mad round of applause. I had such a good time this
Beautiful
morning
ending.
to this
Yeah.
afternoon.
Ooh,
Ladies,
Well
you
done,
are
everybody.
incredible. Thank you
amazing.
so much. Y'all take it light wherever part of the world, whatever season of the day it is. We will see you next week, and I will see you all around the way. Love you to
Thank,
distraction. Je t'aime.
Love y'all.
thank you.
Definitivamente. Thank you.
See you Wednesday.
Muchísimas gracias a todos.